The snow falls, silent and white, blanketing the world in a pristine embrace. A hush falls over the neighborhood, the only sounds the gentle whisper of the wind and the distant chime of carols. Christmas, a time for joy, for family, for warmth. But beneath the surface of the season something darker stirs. A chill that seeps into your bones, a shadow that stretches with the setting sun. On Christmas, not every gift is a blessing. Some are warnings whispered from the shadows. Some are promises etched in ice. It started subtly. The kind of thing you might not even notice at first, just a faint sense that something was off. The air in the house felt heavier, the shadows seemed to stretch a little longer than usual, and the silence outside was deeper than the usual winter hush, a flicker of movement in the periphery, like a trick of the eye. Sometimes Neha would catch a glimpse of something shifting just beyond the frosted glass, a shape that vanished the moment she turned her head. A shadow against the falling snow, tall and unmoving, cast by the dim glow of the streetlight. It lingered at the edge of her vision, always just out of focus, as if it belonged to another world. Neha, a young mother struggling to make ends meet, dismissed it as exhaustion. The holidays were always hard, especially after the accident that had left her family smaller, her heart heavier. She told herself it was just stress, the weight of too many sleepless nights. But every night, the figure returned, standing silently at the edge of her property line, just beyond the reach of the streetlight. He wore a long black coat, his face obscured by the wide brim of a hat. Never moving, never singing, just watching. The stillness of his presence was more unsettling than any threat. Her daughter Maya noticed him too. Her small hand would slip into Neha's, her grip tightening as she whispered, "Mommy, the man's back." The fear in Maya's eyes was unmistakable, and Neha's heart ached with the knowledge that she couldn't protect her daughter from something she couldn't even understand. Neha tried to rationalize it. A vagrant perhaps drawn to the twinkling lights of their little house. Maybe someone lonely, or lost, or just cold. But the unease lingered, a knot of dread tightening in her chest with each passing night. She double-checked the locks, closed the curtains, and left a light on in the hallway, but nothing eased the sense of being watched. Then came the carols. Not sung, but played. A tinny, distorted recording of Silent Night that seemed to seep from the very walls, echoing through the house long after the music stopped. The melody was warped, slowed, as if played on a broken music box. It would start at odd hours, sometimes in the dead of night, sometimes just as dusk fell. Always when Neha felt most alone. Maya, once soothed by the familiar carols, now hid beneath her blankets, her small body trembling. The music that once promised comfort now brought only fear, and Neha could do nothing but hold her close and whisper empty reassurances. One particularly frigid December night, the power went out. The familiar glow of the Christmas lights vanished, plunging the house into darkness. The sudden silence was suffocating, broken only by the sound of Neha's own heartbeat thundering in her ears. She fumbled for her phone, but the battery was dead. The cold seemed to seep into her bones. She went to check on Maya, but the little girl's bed was empty. Panic seized her, sharp and overwhelming. Frantically she searched the house, her calls for Maya swallowed by the oppressive silence. Every shadow seemed to move, every creak of the old house made her jump. The darkness felt alive, pressing in from all sides. Then she saw it. The security monitor flickering back to life as the power returned, and there on the screen was the caroler. Standing on her porch, his back to the camera, Maya's small hand clasped in his gloved one. The image glitched and wavered, but there was no mistaking the outline of her daughter, or the chilling stillness of the figure beside her. Then, darkness. The feed cut out again, leaving Neha in the cold, silent grip of a terror she had never known. The house felt impossibly empty, the night outside endless. And somewhere, just beyond the reach of the light, the caroler waited, his song echoing in the shadows. The orphanage was shrouded in a perpetual winter, its crumbling walls and frostbitten windows standing as silent witnesses to years of forgotten laughter and lost hope. Snow drifted endlessly, blanketing the world outside in a cold silence that seemed to seep into the very bones of the building. The wind whistled through the broken windows like a mournful lullaby, carrying with it the distant echoes of children's voices and the faintest hint of something unspoken, something waiting in the shadows. Karen, a boy of 10 with eyes older than his years, found solace in the small acts of kindness he could offer the younger children. He would share his meager blanket, tell stories to chase away the darkness, and offer a gentle hand to those who woke up crying in the night. One particularly bleak Christmas Eve, when hope seemed as thin as the gruel in their bowls, a gift appeared in the common room. The children had long stopped expecting miracles, but that night, something changed. A gingerbread house crafted with intricate detail, its sugary aroma filling the stale air with a promise of warmth and sweetness. The walls were piped with white icing, gumdrops lined the roof, and tiny candy windows glistened in the dim light, as if inviting them into a world far removed from their own. The children, their faces etched with a mixture of wonder and hunger, gathered around it. For a moment the harshness of their world faded, replaced by the simple magic of a treat they had only ever dreamed of. That night, one of the youngest children, a little girl named Priya, vanished. She had been the first to reach for the gingerbread, her small hands trembling with excitement. No sign, no trace, just an empty bed, and the lingering scent of gingerbread in the air. Only a few crumbs, and her favorite stuffed toy remained, as if she had simply melted away into the night. The caretakers searched, their faces grim, but Priya was gone. They called her name into the darkness, their voices growing hoarse and desperate, but the only answer was the howling wind. Karan noticed something strange about the gingerbread house. He felt a chill as he studied it, a sense that it was watching him back, its candy windows glinting with a secret knowledge. A small, iced figure, identical to Priya, was now lying on the roof. The detail was uncanny, her pigtails, her little dress, even the way she held her toy. He tried to tell the others, but they dismissed him, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. Some whispered that he was just scared, others refused to look at the gingerbread house at all. The next day, another child disappeared. The pattern was impossible to ignore, but the adults clung to denial, insisting the children were playing tricks or hiding. This time it was Raj, a boy known for his mischievous grin and quick wit. He had always been the one to make the others laugh, to find light in the darkest corners. And just like Priya, a gingerbread replica of him appeared on the roof of the house, his iced smile frozen in a grotesque parody of joy. Terror gripped the orphanage. The children began to avoid the common room, their laughter replaced by fearful silence. The children, once drawn to the gingerbread house, now cowered from it, their whispers echoing in the cavernous halls. They huddled together at night, afraid to sleep, afraid to dream. Karan, his young mind grappling with a horror he couldn't comprehend, knew he had to do something. He felt the weight of responsibility for the others, a burden far too heavy for his small shoulders. He snuck down to the common room that night, his heart pounding in his chest. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like thunder, every shadow seemed to reach for him. The gingerbread house seemed to pulsate in the dim light, the sugary aroma now cloying, suffocating. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding on their fear and loneliness. As he watched, a new figure began to emerge from the icing on the roof. The icing twisted and curled, shaping itself with a slow, deliberate malice. A figure that sent a chill down his spine. It was him. Every detail, from his tousled hair to the patch on his sleeve, was captured in sugar and icing. He didn't wait to see anymore. Panic surged through him, and he turned and fled, his footsteps echoing through the empty halls. He ran, the screams of the other children echoing in his ears, the scent of gingerbread clinging to him like a curse. He never looked back, not even when the cold night air bit at his face and the snow stung his eyes. Years later, the memory still haunted him. No matter how far he traveled, or how much he tried to forget, the orphanage and its terrible secret followed him like a shadow. The gingerbread house, the missing children, the chilling realization that something truly evil had touched his childhood. He wondered if anyone would ever believe his story, or if the truth would remain buried beneath the snow and silence. And sometimes, in his nightmares, he could still smell the gingerbread, sweet and sickening, a reminder of the Christmas he lost his innocence, and the friends he could never save. Rhea had always hated dolls, their unblinking eyes, their painted smiles, the way they seemed to watch you even in the stillness of her room. No matter how many times she told herself they were just toys, she could never shake the feeling that they were more than that, silent witnesses to her every move, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to come alive. So, when she unwrapped the porcelain doll on Christmas morning, a knot of unease tightened in her stomach. It was beautiful, she had to admit. The kind of beauty that belonged in a glass case, not in the hands of a child. The room was filled with laughter and the scent of pine, but Rhea felt a chill run down her spine as she lifted the doll from its box, its delicate limbs cold and fragile in her hands. With its ivory skin, rosy cheeks and piercing blue eyes that seemed to follow her every move. The eyes were impossibly bright, almost too real, as if they held secrets that no child should ever know. Rhea found herself unable to look away, caught in the doll's gaze, feeling as though it was peering straight into her soul. Its scarlet velvet dress was adorned with tiny pearls, and a matching ribbon held back its cascade of golden curls. Every detail was perfect, from the delicate lace at its collar to the tiny shoes on its feet. It looked like something from another era, a relic of a forgotten time, and Rhea wondered who had owned it before her. But, something about its beauty felt cold, lifeless. It was as if the doll was a shell, a vessel for something unseen. The longer she stared, the more she felt a creeping sense of dread, as though the doll was silently mocking her fear. Her parents, oblivious to her discomfort, placed the doll on her bedside table. They smiled, proud of their thoughtful gift, never noticing the way Ria's hands trembled as she set the doll down. "She's lovely, darling," her mother had said, her voice tinged with a strange, almost hypnotic lilt. There was something in her mother's eyes that Ria didn't recognize, a distant, faraway look, as if she too was under the doll's spell. "A gift for our special girl." The words echoed in Ria's mind, both comforting and unsettling, as if they carried a hidden meaning she couldn't quite grasp. That night, Ria woke to a soft humming coming from the foot of her bed. The sound was faint, almost like a lullaby, but it sent shivers down her spine. She pulled the covers up to her chin, her eyes searching the darkness for the source. The doll was gone. She sat up, her heart pounding in her chest, and scanned the room. The silence was heavy, broken only by the echo of that haunting melody. And then she saw it. The doll was perched on her dresser, its blue eyes staring at her, a malevolent glint in their depths. It looked almost pleased, as if it had been waiting for her to notice. Over the next few days, the doll's presence became a suffocating constant. No matter where Ria went, it was there, on the stairs, in the hallway, even at the breakfast table. She began to dread coming home, knowing the doll would be waiting, its gaze never wavering. It would appear in different parts of the house, always watching her, its painted smile widening into a grotesque grin. Sometimes she thought she saw its lips twitch, as if it was trying to speak. Her parents, once so loving and attentive, became distant, their eyes vacant, their voices flat, as if their very souls were being drained away. They moved through the house like shadows, barely acknowledging Ria or each other. Then, one morning, they were gone. The house was eerily silent, every room empty, as if her family had simply vanished into thin air. Vanished without a trace, leaving Ria alone with the doll and a chilling emptiness that echoed through the house. The silence pressed in on her, broken only by the faint, ever-present humming that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. She knew with a certainty that chilled her to the bone that the doll was responsible. There was no other explanation. The doll had taken her parents and now it wanted her. She tried to get rid of it, to throw it away, to destroy it. She buried it in the backyard, locked it in a box, even tried to smash it, but nothing worked. But it always returned, appearing in her room as if by magic, its blue eyes burning into her with a cold, possessive light. Each time it came back, it seemed a little closer, a little more alive. As the days turned into weeks, Ria could feel herself changing. She grew pale and withdrawn, her laughter fading, her energy sapped by the doll's relentless presence. Her reflection in the mirror became distorted, her features taking on a porcelain quality, her eyes hardening into a chilling imitation of the doll's. She watched in horror as her skin grew smooth and cold, her own humanity slipping away. The doll had taken everything from her, her parents, her life, her very humanity. She was a shadow of herself, trapped in a nightmare she couldn't escape, her only companion the thing that had stolen her world. And now it was taking her soul. Ria realized, with a final, shuddering breath, that she was becoming just like the doll, silent, beautiful, and forever watching. The fire crackles, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The scent of pine and cinnamon hangs heavy in the air, a bittersweet reminder of holidays past. Christmas, a time for joy, for family, for warmth. But you know, some gifts are best left unopened, some secrets buried deep beneath the snow, because the things that lurk in the shadows, the things that whisper on the wind, they know the true meaning of Christmas fear. Not every Christmas gift brings joy. Some bring back what was lost, some take what you love, and some are just waiting to unwrap you.